Army shot 1,430 rounds of anti-aircraft fire at the UFO between 3:12 and 4:15 a.m. Army Chief of Staff General George C. Marshall wrote a top-secret memo to President Franklin D. Roosevelt that the U.S. Navy recovered an unidentified craft off the coast of California. The retrieved craft was in fact not earthly and in all probability of interplanetary origin.
I mean, to me what this is all about is not just, looking up in the sky and saying, wow, there's another UFO, yet another sighting. I mean, it's about exploring the phenomena. We have to get past denial. I mean, everyone is stuck at denial. I mean, mainstream science says the phenomena is not happening, and they don't take it seriously, and they try to sweep with them half the world. But over 50% of the American population, according to polls, believe in the UFO phenomena, and the government just buries it.
Well, there's some media that are guilty of trying to suppress, and there are some media that are just throwing the story out there. Now, this Mexican sighting, we had coverage on Fox, we had coverage on CNN, and in the Daily News in the Valley here, we had a front page article, with the pictures and UFO, big question mark, and I mean, they were treating it. I think increasingly now, the media has to take into account that this is a reality. And I think, again, to go along the theory and the feeling that John Mack has, let's get past the debate whether they're here or not. Yeah. Let's start to analyze who they are, how many of them are there, what kind of systems they're using, what their intentions are to us here on their planet, and can we utilize this knowledge to better ourselves as a species.
With the advent of the Hubble telescope, I mean, when you see how big it really is out there, and the idea that we're stuck on this myopic little ball, we're just glued to it, we can't get our eyes off of it. It's more of a mystery now than it ever has been. Why we're stuck here, and there's got to be a way to decode the matrix and finding out how these craft work, how we can get out into the universe ourselves. I mean, I think that's what this is really all about. It's not about trying to prove it whether it's right or wrong. It's like when the first time man saw a bird fly.
Well, the last UFO symposium conducted by MUFON, they sent me the book of the speakers. There were many, many scientific people in there, many astrophysicists, celestial mechanics experts, metallurgists, people who've been consulted on these cases over the years. No, I mean, when you have John Callahan, an ex-FAA supervisor, saying, yep, they're real. When you have John Schuessler, who was a Boeing engineer, now running MUFON, and saying, yep, they're real. When you have pilots and personnel in the police and military coming forward in the Rockefeller Report and in the Disclosure Report saying they're real. When you have a Belgian general on television showing you a tape from a fighter which is filming an object escaping at high speed, when you have this Mexican case, I think we can pretty well put it to bed and say, yep, they're here, they're doing things to us, with us, interacting with us. Whether we've had, official military contact, again, that goes into the black box area, but there should be no debate anymore. UFOs exist. They are intelligently manufactured and guided technology from somewhere else, not this planet.
While human beings can only see from red to violet wavelengths of light, the infrared and ultraviolet spectrums are invisible to humans. I quickly learned that NASA uses special video cameras that are capable of seeing into these invisible spectra.
The tether has broken and is going away from us. Get it on the TV, Claude. Please get it on the TV.
After the 12-mile-long tether snaps, several days later on an orbital pass, the cameras find something that should not be there. In the NASA STS-75 tether incident of March 1996, we find NASA using ultraviolet light sensitive video cameras. This is where some of the largest UFOs ever caught on videotape have been captured. Huge dish-shaped luminous UFOs swarm the tether. We know the tether is 77 to 100 miles away from the cameras on the shuttle. The UFOs pass behind the 12-mile-long tether, so we can therefore use the 12-mile length of the tether to measure their minimum diameters. Some measure between 1 and 3 miles wide, making them literally motherships. In Project Blue Book files, UFOs with these same features have been reported several times as shiny metallic discs with dark centers. Specifically, in the invisible infrared, Trevor James Constable, a retired World War II radar operator from New Zealand, has photographed many UFOs with the same features, translucent discs of light with dark centers.
The time has come to lift the veil of secrecy and let the truth emerge so there can be a real and informed debate about one of the most important problems facing our planet today.
So how do people respond to Dan Aykroyd when he talks to them on a personal level about UFOs?
You know what? It's interesting. When I talk to people, well, first of all, people ask me about it. They come to me and they say, oh, well, you know, we saw an interview, we heard an interview, they heard the thing on Art Bell that we did. They come to me and ask me about it. So it's not like I have to go out there and crusade and say, hey, did you hear about the latest Mexican case? They've seen CNN, they've seen Fox, they've seen the Daily News. They come to me and ask me about it, and I basically lay out, you know, my thoughts on it. I'd say half the people that I speak to about this have either seen themselves, heard about it from a credible witness, or are willing to accept. The other half, totally not. Harold Ramis, my good friend and collaborator, does not believe, will not accept until, you know, hard proof is presented to him in the form of, you know, something tangible. And what I've been able to do is just open people's minds a little bit and let them think about it. And of course, the greatest proof are the kinds of tapes that now exist, the kind of videos that exist. Usually, when I show some tape of some different things that have been exposed to me, well, it's pretty convincing. And then at that point, people have to go away and accept that, you know, that these things are a part of our reality. Well, what I'd like to, you know, what we'd all like to affect is some positive change in the world and try to help the tipping point where good tips to overflow evil in the world. I mean, you know, we know there's good and bad out there, yin yang, black, white, you know, there are you know, there's tremendous divisiveness in the planet, and you know, perhaps this study and this understanding of things that are greater than we have accomplished technologically will lead us to a spiritual awakening, one that helps us respect other beings out there in the universe and other dimensions, and also in our own 4 dimensions and here in the physical world that we live in. The sacredness of human life, the willingness to get along a little better, to relinquish materialism and territoriality in favor of a more comprehensive worldview, in which we unite and we all feel the energy within us as part of a universal light.
Gotta thank you, Dan, so much for this interview. I'm very grateful. I really believe you're one of the greatest minds in our world at this time. Thank you so much.